Hi, welcome to the Pick a Card reading. I'm going to get you to pick one of the three piles. Pile 1, 2 or 3. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk about the cards that I picked in general for the reading so that we know what the reading will be about. And in general, the reading seems to be about new beginnings and decisions, and what parts of us to tap into to make those decisions. So this card tells us that this has been a time of necessary upheaval, which will be a blessing in disguise, because as the dust settles, the gift reveals itself. And of course we can all relate to a time of upheaval, the way this year has gone for everyone. And that's a picture there of a moon goddess. And I think there's a lot of moon goddess energy in this reading already, because I can see some sacral chakra energy, which is very feminine energy, and it's about feelings and desires and as it says here in this card, wildest fantasies and dreams coming true. And the reading is also about the solar plexus, which is your personal power and self-esteem. It's about tapping into your inner passion. And the card tells us it's time to make things happen and do what matters most to you. And we also have here another energy, a sort of higher energy, like from the crown chakra, a kind of spiritual energy. It's about good energy, which will be of a higher vibration. And this is about sacred truth. So this is about tapping into something that's spiritual or beyond ourselves, something from a higher power, whatever you believe in. Maybe this is something you tap into when you meditate, or when you just think about the world or the universe as something greater than just yourself. So this reading is about tapping into our inner self and also something higher, or our higher self. And we can see here the advice is to take a first step to begin the journey, which is a lot like this card, because it says now is the time to make things happen. And this card is what I was talking about viewing things from above to get a big picture, whether that's looking at your life holistically or looking at the world holistically, seeing things from a higher perspective. And this card reminds me of this one, because it says, expect what the wondrous to emerge, and it's about miracles, and this card was about wild fantasies and dreams coming true. So I noticed that synchronicity came out when I pulled those two sets of 3 cards. So already things are starting to unfold in a way that makes sense. And there's one more card for the general reading, and that's the sycamore tree. And the sycamore tree is about clarity, because without sycamore things are gloomy and we become indecisive and vague and clouded with worry. But with sycamore we can foresee where decisions may take us, and we can gain access to more clarity. We can assert ourselves and bring ideas and plans to fruition. And that asserting of ourselves again brings us back to the solar plexus chakra. Okay, so if you haven't already chosen, the first pile is represented here by a numite stone, which has little golden flecks in it. And that's a very powerful stone of inner transformation. And the second pile here is represented by the lapis lazuli, which is a very royal stone. And the third pile here is represented by a very sparkly gem-cut crystal. So now that you've chosen a pile, the first pile I'll start with is pile number 1. So this is going back to knowing your inner self and using the knowledge that you find there to shape your destiny. So this is about looking within, and I think seeing the lighter aspects of yourself. So this is about the things that you're proud of within yourself, or things that need to come into the light because maybe they haven't been in the light and they've just been inside of you. This is about using practical knowledge that you have, but also just using your knowledge of yourself and who you are to shape your destiny. This cloud, this card of distant thunder says to clear the air. So this is about getting clarity within yourself and maybe even with other people. If there's anything that you need more information about to make a decision, or if you need to clear the air with someone who you're uncertain of your relationship with them, or there's something you need to know, or there's emotions that need to be sorted out. That's about clearing something on the outside that needs work before you can make your decision. And this card again goes back to the sacral chakra because it's about love and compassion. I think a lot of this is having to do with love and compassion for yourself, but also maybe with other people as well, if you felt that was relevant with the last card. It says a newfound joy for life will replace your sadness. And there's a picture there of joy, which is one of the primary emotions, again, of the sacral chakra. And again, we see a lot of feminine energy in that card. And I did get another card for you that was actually the answer to a question. So I'd like you to think of a question you'd like the answer to, something that has to do with what we've been talking about. And if you have a question in mind, I'll tell you if the answer has to do with free will. And it says that the answer to the question is no. Yet remember that you have free will. You are free to make your own decisions. Just remember you need to take responsibility for any choice you make. Meditate and see what your heart says. So just remember that when you have additional information, the answer to the question could change. Or if you change your own energy, the answer could change. Or alternatively, the question that you decide to ask could change. And I'll leave it to you what that means to you. And finally got the cedar of Lebanon, which is related to the sun, So again, that's the solar plexus chakra, which is self-esteem and the seat of self. The cedar brings us warmth and creativity, responsibility, honesty, and independence. Being chosen by the cedar is like being knighted by King Arthur or Richard the Lionheart. All you can do is bend your knee, lower your head, and know that you are worthy. And finally, I also got for you these two cards. Abundance and within the next few weeks. So that could mean that you'll have more clarity within the next few weeks, or that what you decide will bring you abundance, which in addition to abundance, sometimes being money, it can be other kinds of things, whether that's lots of friends or connections, or lots of new opportunities, or lots of ideas, joy and happiness, and just fulfillment in life. It could also mean that some sort of windfall is coming within the next few weeks. It could mean there's an opportunity coming within the next few weeks. So that's pile number 1. Thank you very much for listening. And I'll move on now to pile number 2. So if you chose pile number 2, this is about understanding aspects of your past and how they relate to what you would like in the future. Because you got 2 of these cards, and they're about the past and the love and light that is around you, and the things from the past that were positive that you want to bring with you, or the things that maybe you're not using or not tapping into that you would like to renew from your past. And this is about walking ahead with pride into the future. You also have the mother and child card. So this is about your career and or your life path, and how nurturing is relevant, or compassion. Now this could be something that you want to do in your life, or it could be having more compassion for yourself. And this card is about support. So there's definitely there's definitely a sense of being supported internally and feeling that is mirrored externally as well, whether that's by other people or support systems, or something outside of yourself. If you believe in something spiritual, believing that you are supported in what you believe and what you want and the decisions you make. Again, we see that passion is important in this reading, and the sun. So we see again the sacral chakra energy and the solar plexus energy. The sun is the giver of strength and new infusions of energy. And it talks about something beyond your control. So even where there are forces beyond your control, you will still be able to find support for the decisions that you make, but sometimes you have to surrender to things that you cannot control. And see here, it talks about balance. So it's like a balance between what you what is up to you and what you can control and what you believe, and the way things are, the things that you cannot change. But it says here that all is perfect just the way it is. And also own and acknowledge every part of you, and you will find the balance that you are seeking. So it's also acknowledging and having compassion for parts of yourself that maybe you've been trying to control or you would have preferred to change. It's accepting forces not just outside of yourself but also within yourself that maybe you found difficult. And now I pulled a couple of cards that seem to require a question. Hello kitty, my kitty's here. So I'll just ask you to think of a question that you would like an answer to that has to do with what we've been talking about here. And when you have the question in mind, I'll get you to choose either card A or card B as the answer. Okay, so if you have your question, if you don't have one yet, you can pause it, think of one. If you chose card A, the answer is if you believe. And if you chose card B, the answer is no. But remember that if you get further information and things change, the answer could always change. Or if you change your own energy, either the answer could change or the question that you desire to ask could change. And the last thing is the energy of myrrh. And myrrh reminds us that without gratitude, we can become prideful and arrogant. Myrrh takes us beyond ourselves to encourage contact with the unseen. It creates a bridge between the mundane and the spiritual, and the profane and the sacred. So again, this takes us back to seeing things from a higher perspective, and a spiritual perspective or a holistic perspective, whether that's global or spiritual. And when we look at ourselves as though we are not our thoughts or our feelings, as though that's just something that we experience just like everything else, when we detach our higher mind and look at ourselves from the outside, sometimes we get a better perspective of ourselves and our lives and where we're going and where we could go. So that's the reading for you, pile number 2. Thank you for listening. And now I'll move on to pile 3. So if you chose pile 3, I can see already that fear of change is not only coming up in the first card here, it's also peeking out in the aspen card there, because I know when you use aspen as a remedy, it's often for unexplained fears and fears of the unknown and the unseen. This says to be confident as you have the right pathway. And this says, chase the rainbow, see endless possibilities open to you. So don't restrict yourself from fear. Open yourself up before you start closing down options. Open up all the options and look at them all. Don't just start closing everything down in fear before you consider it. And this reminds us to enjoy the journey. So we don't need to know immediately exactly where we're going and exactly what the outcome is going to be. And that's okay to take the wandering path. Even if we think maybe we're not getting anywhere, maybe we're going the wrong way, maybe we're just taking the scenic route, and maybe we're learning things along the way. This card is about infinity, and it says, "Dearest one, rest within the light of your soul. Feel my spirit alive within you, the spirit of the goddess." We got that in our first card, the moon goddess. "Of nature, the earth and the stars, accept the love and light we shower upon you." So it may help you to meditate out in nature. Protection card. There's a picture there of an angel. Replace fear with love is another card about fear. You are held safe in the arms of an angel. So this is meditating on positive emotions. Like think about what you love to do. This is going back to the passion and the dreams. Unleashing your dreams and your wildest fantasies and expecting the wondrous to emerge. Don't expect the worst. Think about what you love to do. Think about what your dreams are, and think about that more than what could go wrong. And Aspen asks us to be brave and open and to let go of routines, possessions, and social mores that are better left behind. So this has a lot to do with the sacral chakra, because when the sacral chakra isn't doing well, it can lead us to feeling scared and guilty and ashamed. So this is about feeling good about what makes you feel good, about what your passions are in life and what your dreams are, and don't be afraid they might not work out, and don't cling to things that you feel you have to do out of necessity, and push aside the things that make you feel good. And if you get this sense of a greater perspective on yourself and on life, then it's easier to detach from the emotions that keep us small and restricted. Just let yourself open up in your meditation, or in sitting out in nature, or when you're going off to sleep, and think, if I was free, what would I want to do? When I feel really myself and really good within myself, what is it then that I like to do, and what is it that I want? And the final card I pulled for you is this lovely recovery card, which is a lovely supportive card to get after all the cards about fear and being held back, and the card we got at the beginning of the reading about the difficult times and the upheavals. This means that we are going to something better, and there is a higher protective force around us as well. And we also have our inner light at all times that contains truths that we can always tap into, and good energies that we can always tap into. So thank you very much for listening, and take care. Bye bye.